A little old lady in tennis shoes getting in everybody else's business and having a good time doing it.
All right, you guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. You know, growing up on Juneteenth, me and my family, we always celebrated, and food is the #1 thing that brings people together. So figure why not have you guys come out and give me some Juneteenth knowledge that you guys have growing up. And of course, my grandma, Miss Opal Lee coming out.
All right, all right. I'm delighted to be here, to be this close to Cowboys. I mean, these young fellas I see on the television, and they are beautiful. I tell you, and all that gear and paint they have on, you don't really know what they look like. Pads and stuff, but they're wonderful. And may I ask, where did you grow up and what you know about Juneteenth?
I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia. Growing up, my dad was the president of my chapter of the NAACP, so he kind of installed in us everything about Juneteenth and about Black history. So we kind of grew up, deep into Black history.
Well, think about it, because I'm going to ask you some more about Juneteenth.
Yes,
Tell me about you and Juneteenth.
So I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So like most of my family migrated from the South. So we really didn't celebrate it when we were younger, but we did have a sense of self, you know, so we understood that, you know, that it was something to be celebrated, to be Black and, you know, celebrate being free.
Be Black and beautiful like you are, all right. What about you, son?
So I grew up here in Fort Worth, Texas.
I don't believe it.
Or believe it. But what I know about Juneteenth is, I mean, essentially, you know, so my mom's a liberal arts major. She was a social studies teacher for a long time, middle school. So I gotta be careful when I say this, because she gonna nitpick me. But essentially, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and it freed the slaves, like not every slave in the South was told. And so Juneteenth was kind of when those slaves who didn't know that they were free were kind of, you know, when they gained the knowledge that, you know, they were actually free. And I say free loosely because, you know, even after it happened, there was a lot after that kind of kept them in chains, society-wise, so to speak. That's kind of a little bit of what I know, but it is celebrated in our house. And, you know, we were always mindful of it growing up and kind of about our history and whatnot.
So all of us here have big names, big brands, you know, got our social media following. We sitting right here with a legend. Like, yeah, you.
A little old lady in tennis shoes getting in everybody else's business and having a good time doing it.
Definitely. So what does that mean to y'all to be sitting with somebody of such importance?
I'm just like their granny.
Like Tyler said, man, it's knowledge. It's knowledge. I mean, if you don't understand where you came from, I mean, it's very easy to be taken advantage of. So we got the encyclopedia right here. So I mean, we gonna just try to soak up everything we can. I mean, we like you said, we weren't taught this in history class. We weren't taught this in social studies. So like, I mean, this is a perfect time to, you know, get all my questions out about our history.
I want you to make yourself a committee of one to change somebody's mind. You know the people who aren't on the same page you are. Change their minds. If people can be taught to hate, they can be taught to love. And it's up to you to do it. And you can't do it in a day. It's gonna take work. So, I want you young people to be aware that there is work to be done. Juneteenth, what is it? It's freedom. And we ought to celebrate from the 19th of June to the 4th of July. I don't mean just festival. There's too much that we need to do, too much education-wise. But we can do something about it. And we should do something about it. And I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about all people. We all bleed red blood. We're all brothers and sisters under the skin. And the sooner we accept that fact and work together to get rid of these disparities that we have, the better the world's gonna be.
So what's a big culture thing that you guys do at home? Like when I say cultural, you know, yes, we're talking about Juneteenth, but we also are just celebrating black people as a whole. So is there something that you realize, like, you know, you might do that others may not, or, you know, what's something that you do at the house, at the crib?
My foundation, Baker Foundation, we send black kids to a private school. The private school I went to, education is at the forefront of everything. You know, if you're not educated on things, you don't have the ability to overcome certain aspects. So that's something that we do that I encourage more people to do, is try to find the best education around, and you know, use your platform to do that and help reach back.
And what's the name of your organization?
Baker Foundation is named after my late father, Perry Galloway. Yeah.
I mean, so like, I go home and we had like a block party, you know what I'm saying? So
I ain't got invited to that
yeah,
one.
No, but it's around the time I do my camp. So like, I had a camp 2 weeks ago, I think so, on Memorial Day weekend. So I mean, like, that's really like what I feel like is different from, you know, any other group. Like, we treat our neighbors like our cousins, you know what I'm saying, our brothers and stuff like that. So I mean, we have people around. I feel like, you know, my immediate family that I've known since I was little. So I mean, we go back and we party, man, and we cook, we dance, you know what I'm saying? We just have a good time. So I feel like that's what we do. I mean, that's what kind of separates, you know, us from any other group.
What about you, Tom?
You know, I'll definitely say I'm a younger cast, so you know, in terms of organizations of black parties, my platform not all the way there yet. But at our home, education is a huge thing. Like, my mom, she's a social studies teacher, liberal arts major, and you know, that's her true passion in life. I didn't rag on her, but I always ask, like, Mom, you want to be a history teacher? That's what you want to do in your life? But for her, like, it was important for her to kind of, you know, educate us about where we came from. So, because, you know, that's a big journey and how you get to where you're trying to go. And like, she would tell us about Juneteenth. She would tell us about, you know, how the country, you know, for lack of a better word, kind of treated our people. You know, how tough things used to be, because things are still tough now. But you know, back then it was a whole different ball game. Like, you could leave, like, when you walked out that door, you didn't know if you would come home to your family. Like, it was a complete different thing. So her just, you know, like, teaching us, like, letting us know, you know, like how good, well, I wouldn't say how good, but you know, how things were back then, how things are now is huge for us. You know, that's something I try to bring to my friends, like, you know, my homies, because she would lecture us and I would never get it at the time. Like, I'd be like, you know, why are you telling me all this? Like, you know, it's like, but it gets deep, and it's real stuff. And it's like he said, knowledge is the foundation of everything, because when you're ignorant, you can be taken advantage of. When you're ignorant, you don't know where you're trying to go. Like, you can just, you know, react off emotion, like, and not like be lost. So, you know, that's huge for us. It's just that education part of it.
So we're all from different areas. We're all spread out and happen to be in the right place at the right time to all meet right here. But what's something back at home that you would like to change, that you felt like black people dealt with, that you would like to change or initiate or just even spark a conversation about?
I mean, I can start. It's really like, it's like an invisible border, you know, where I'm from. So like, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So it's like we have like these mile roads. You know, I know everybody heard of 8 Mile. So like, we really don't cross 8 Mile. Like, if you don't feel comfortable with everything, you know what I'm saying, you don't cross 8 Mile. So like, or you don't go to Grosse Point and drive, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's like these like constructs, you know what I'm saying, that we just, in our mind, we say like, just don't be there, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's something that my parents, you know, instilled in me, you know what I'm saying, and their parents. So like, I feel like that's something that, you know, needs to be changed. I mean, if it's on a, you know, medicinal level, you know what I'm saying, like policing or something like that, or it's just in our own heads. But honestly, I feel like that needs to change, because I mean, I've been scared to go to Grosse Point just driving through since I was, you know, little. But it was like, That's something I feel like we should change, well, at least where I'm from.
Mine is the inferiority complex we have when it comes to us and white people. My mom raised me to see myself like everybody else, but where I'm from, a lot of the people, you know, you guys all experienced it where, oh man, that white man coming, you gotta straighten up. Right. Or that's just something that we do instead of like us realizing that we're just as good as anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying we're better than anybody, but everything they can do, we can do. You know, let's love each other, let's love everybody. So, yeah.
All right. For me, I definitely say the opportunity factor for sure. Like I feel like, you know, kids in my generation, a lot of kids today, like they can't always see a way out of their situation. Like, you know, everyone comes from a different situation. Me, you know, I come from humble beginnings. You know, I had a single mom and, you know, she had to kind of be, you know, mom and dad. And, you know, we didn't always have everything, but she made sure we had what we needed. But a lot of kids don't even have that foundation or that support. And, you know, that's a big thing for me because I watch people, you know, just as talented as me, like, you know, who had just as much, like, capacity to, you know, be great, you know, fall through the cracks just because of, you know, the people around them. Like, they didn't have the right people believing them. They weren't provided the same opportunities. They weren't told the same things. They didn't have that knowledge to kind of, you know, find a way. So, you know, I never want anybody, especially like me, to be left behind. Cause, you know, I'm living in my dream. Like, you know, every day I wake up, you know, I'm thankful to God because, you know, it's a blessing to be here. But there are just as many kids like me who, you know, who like fell through the cracks in the past because, you know, they didn't have the knowledge. Their education wasn't all the way there. Their teachers weren't invested in them the same way they're investing in other kids. And, you know, it goes really deep. You know, we could be here all day if I'm being honest.
I feel like it's by design though.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
I feel like all of our answers, you know, I feel like it's something in, you know, deeply under root, you know what I'm saying, that's in society that's been like, you know, an unwritten rule. Like this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but I think the resilience, like we gotta celebrate ourselves when it comes to how resilient we are as a people.
Absolutely.
We come like, what was it, just over 100 years ago, we were in chains. Our people were in chains, and look at it, it's like, we just had a black president.
And that's what Ms. Opal was saying, man, we gotta celebrate this.
Right.
We gotta celebrate this like any other holiday.
So we know that black culture has influenced a lot of things, anywhere from food, music. Hip hop was just the #1 genre in the world. So what are other ways that you guys see black excellence fingerprints in different areas and things of that nature?
I think we are culture. We are culture. In America, America's food is soul food. That's our culture. From everything, the way people dress to the way people talk, people use our slang. It's just we are culture.
I mean, you see it. It's like you said, we are culture. Like you see it everywhere in science. Like, you know, the movie Hidden Figures. You know what she did. Like, you know, not a lot of people can wrap their head around that. Like things like that. That, you know, she could have had that effect. Like on us, you know, man setting foot on the moon and things like that. And like even in medicine, like, you know, there's so many you know, black figures, like people, and I couldn't name them off. I tried.
Brietta Lex.
Who have done, like, you might more elaborate.
The mother of everybody. So I mean, she's been researched and probed for how many years now? Probably like 80, something like that. So I mean, it's just we're everywhere. I mean, we've been like the Tuskegee Airmen. We've been everything, bro, everywhere. Man. So like when you say resilience, you say triumph. We've done it all, man, and we came out with style, bro, and it made it look good. So I mean, it definitely is a humbling to be black, and it's definitely an experience that I enjoy thoroughly.
For sure, and we understand and notice these things and realize it. But what can we give, or what words can we tell the younger generations who aren't confident in being black?
Definitely be proud of yourself. Like I feel.
People want to be you. People want to be you. If I could tell myself anything when I was younger, people want to be who you are. So.
She gotta embrace that. Like, you know, it's a pride thing. Like, you know, you're capable of so much. Like, you can do so much. And like, I feel like, you know, we as people, we gotta elevate each other all the time. Like, it can never be like you versus somebody else. And never be like, you know, I'm doing better than him. Like, you know, that's all that matters. Like, elevate your brother. There's a lot of the reasons that these influential figures get lost in history is because we don't talk about it enough, and people don't want to talk about it sometimes. Like, but you know, I feel like, you know, it's our responsibility, you know, as a people, to like ensure that, you know, our history is recorded, like it's remembered. Like, we gotta know where we came from to get where we trying to go. Like, and that's I mean, that's real to me.
And all these young men have the potential to turn this country around. All they gotta do is talk to those fellas that they work with. I call football working, fellas. I tell you, y'all call it a game. I say it's working. But don't just keep it to yourself. Let others know that it's a responsibility they have. They can't depend on somebody else to do it. We don't have no guns. All we got are our minds, and they are sharp as all get out. If you just had a list of the inventions they've done, and somebody else is taking the credit for it. There are thousands of them. So don't let nobody take your pattern. See that other people's patterns, that it's theirs, that they need to be the ones to market it. And hey, we all know something about marketing these days, huh? So, can't we just let these fellas eat? Because I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time.